Hi, Dan Law here, the owner and founder of LylePublishing.com. And I'd like to briefly tell you about some excellent, unique tools that I've developed, which can help you with the difficult, big problem of crumbling congregations by clarifying your aim. Is your congregation in trouble? Is there painful conflict and even fighting going on in your congregation? Is your congregation on the verge of splitting, where a big group of your people just walk out and they never come back? Or have you already split? Is your congregation aging, with few or no young people coming up to replace the elderly members that pass on to their rewards? Does it seem that people outside your congregation have little or no interest in what you do? Has growth stopped? Are you people dutifully plodding through the paces, but with little enthusiasm? Does all that lies in your future for your group seem to be stagnation, shrinkage, and going out of business? If any of that sadly is true, then you have what I call a crumbling congregation, which I'm sure you'd prefer to be otherwise, to be happily working together, to be strongly united, to be healthily composed of all age groups, to be successfully reaching your community, growing and thriving. So, what makes the difference between a crumbling congregation and a thriving congregation? Let me suggest that there are three key conditions that thriving congregations have in abundance, but crumbling congregations, they either lack entirely or they failed to successfully implement. And from the positive standpoint, I also have three powerful tools for you here at LylePublishing.com that your crumbling congregation could use, if it wishes, to regain those three permissive conditions for success. Now, I'm speaking here from the Christian perspective, but if you are of some other faith, most of what I say also applies to you. You just need to transpose what I'm saying into your own religious or spiritual terminology. I speak from the Christian perspective because I was raised as a Christian. I know Christianity. It's my traditional faith. And I do believe in the teachings of Jesus. So, number one, crumbling congregations have forgotten the real Jesus. In my book, The Real Jesus, I describe how that the Jesus that's talked about in the New Testament scriptures was a creative theologist worthy of being followed. Now, what does that mean? Well, I show you in that book how that Jesus' number one priority was to help his followers use their God-given talents together, attempting to do great things to the glory of God. And you see, too often, especially when there's different ideas, different opinions, different goals, instead of us appreciating and learning from each other and valuing our differences, we humans tend to fall back to being just smart animals. When our encoded animal instincts take over and our egos kick in. And instead of cooperating and working together and valuing our different ideas and talents, we compete with each other instead of helping each other. Now, Jesus wanted his followers to help each other, not to compete with each other, to help each other move closer to God, not to compete with each other to see who wins and who loses, who's right, who's wrong, who's in charge, who's not in charge. Number 2, crumbling congregations have forgotten about God as the creator of the universe. In my book, Creative Theology, I describe an enabling religious methodology useful to any individual or group for doing that which pleases the great creator the most, namely, to together exercise the godly creativity that he has deliberately put into each of us. Consequently, although there certainly is a time and place for all things, too often crumbling congregations have embraced ceremony over meaning, doctrine over principles, tradition over growth. Indeed, ceremony has often taken the place of meaning. Doctrine has taken the place of principles. And tradition has taken the place over true spiritual advancement. Number 3, crumbling congregations have forgotten their purpose. In my book, In Search of Quality, Principles and Mechanisms, I give the nuts and the bolts, the rubber meets the road, the ways to actually do it, for the best and most practical, effective, and workable tools and methods for best meeting the true spiritual needs of people, either inside or outside of one's congregation of believers. Now, I hope you're getting an idea that church vibrancy does not happen by accident. It happens on purpose. It happens when the church leaders, as I describe in detail in my book, In Search of Quality, when they agree on what? A clear aim. When they test what? Appropriate and good methods. And find out what works best so that they can carefully implement, from using real data to see what really works, the results. And then continually improve what they do. To continually find the most effective ways to meet the true spiritual needs of their place, society, and time. Now, I claim in my book that these critical techniques and methods are what the real Jesus did, and wishes for us, his modern day followers, to do the same. His aim was clear: to use effective, good ways to help people to move ever closer to God. An aim that vibrant congregations today likewise also accept. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, it is disconcerting that we're not perfect. And the reason that other people don't fall in line with what we do is not because they're just bad people, but the reason is that our methods aren't the best. Yes, it's a bother that we need to continually study, learn better, and grow in our practical spiritual applications. Yes. But the good news is that I have provided 3 in-depth books that may help you to reach those worthy goals. And these are not comfortable books, meaning books that kind of rehash things that you already know perfectly well. These are radical books. Just as Jesus was a radical and wishes for his modern day followers to be likewise. These are books that go back to the fundamental principles of one's faith and start all over again in one's modern day society, trying to best please God. You know, it's deadly boring and it is no fun at all to be part of a crumbling congregation. However, if you will embrace practical spiritual learning and intensely enjoyable advancement, then you are well on your way to reversing the decline and reclaiming a vibrant, thriving congregation where you personally can learn, have fun, and do good. If you have some interest in what I'm telling you, then I invite you to take a look at my other short videos that I've made, in which I take you on quick tours through the contents of each of the books I've mentioned here, so you can see what's there. And links to those short videos are right on the top of the pictures of my book covers to my ebooks that are located on my home webpage at lylepublishing.com. And if you're interested in knowing the details, my books are available for purchase at a mere $10 each to immediately pop right up in your computer for your immediate use. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then I invite you to email me directly, either now or in the future, at lylepublishing.com, and my email is danlyle@lylepublishing.com. I look forward to hearing from you if you wish, and I thank you for viewing my Revitalizing Your Congregation video.